Hey guys, today I want to talk about accepting the inevitable and mistakes. You may be familiar with the quote, "The only things certain in life are death and taxes." There's a similar quote which I will make right now being, "The only thing certain in a League of Legends match is one team's nexus exploding and everyone making mistakes." Before anyone says, "Fusion, I saw X professional player play a game perfectly," just don't, because really it's completely impossible to play a game perfectly. Even the most well-played matches by the best players still have multiple mistakes throughout a game. Very small ones and not very often, but they're still mistakes nonetheless. It is an inevitable fact that all players in each League of Legends match ever played in the history of time have made multiple mistakes in every single game. I make mistakes in every game, you make mistakes in every game, and so do the Koreans, despite what you may think. The key here is how many mistakes you make and also the severity and consequences of each mistake. If you get caught and die alone at 50 minutes in the game and the enemy team gets Baron off it, that's a pretty nice advantage for the enemy team. However, taking 2 seconds longer to buy at level 1 won't nearly impact the game as much. It's also not just reducing the amount of mistakes you make, but capitalizing and taking advantage of the mistakes of enemy players. Just as a quick example, if an enemy Taric wastes his stun on a minion, and you aren't doing anything about it, then that's a missed opportunity which could potentially come back to bite you later. If they're taking advantage of your mistakes and you aren't taking advantage of theirs, then this could be a key factor in winning or losing a game. You also have to accept the inevitable. Your team will constantly make mistakes, and this is something you can't avoid. No amount of raging or telling them off will change their mentality and the way they're playing in a single game. If your jungler feeds double buff, for example, or first blood to your lane opponent, trust me, he knows that was bad. 9 times out of 10, people won't be doing shit like this on purpose, and the absolute worst thing you can do afterwards is to flame or complain to them afterwards. I know when I'm playing League, I feel the worst after I've made a mistake myself, and adding more pressure and negative thoughts / feelings into my head after this mistake is only going to make me play worse and decrease our chances of winning. Not to mention, most arguments, or rage conversations as I like to call them, start from someone making a mistake and then someone else freaking out on them for it. As we all know, how much typing back and forth and concentrating on an argument will basically impair your concentration and make it much more difficult for you to play the game to your full potential. It just generally makes things much worse when you have an argument like that. And one last thing that you must accept is that other players will lose your games too. Even the best solo queue players like Fred and Lord still have losses on their record. Take any pro and make them play 100 games at Silver Elo. I guarantee you they will lose at least one, if not a couple of those games. It's just an inevitable fact of solo queue that you have to accept. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.